We started off the season, opening day, hunting in the mountains of West Virginia. As you can see, I was going to do an observation shift the first morning. All this was just fog. Whenever I sat down in the evening, was this little squirrel here, little red squirrel, chewing on a branch. That was quite literally it for that time. Came up here, first morning, didn't see nothing. I seen one deer when I was walking in that I scared while I was trying to go to an observation shift. Sat down for a while, nothing. Evening sit, sat down here. As you can see, this little doe was blowing at me. That was all the action I had that night, sitting there after I seen the squirrel. Same area, had that doe blowing. Thought the wind was good, but it switched up on me. Then I hopped right in here to when I went home, probably that Monday, I believe it was. A couple days later, I seen this little buck coming up here, so I sat here and watched him for a long time, debating whether or not I wanted to shoot him. I did have my compound at the time. I didn't have my longbow shooting well, so I sat here and just watched this buck for quite a while. At this point, I was sitting here just really debating on whether or not I wanted to take him out, and after watching him for a little while, I decided he was too small to take out, and the first morning I sat here in my stand by my house. So I just let him walk, and a little while later, after that guy walked out of my life, here came this other little buck. And these two bucks, basically the story of my season. I just seen these guys all the time. And one of them, the first one there, ended up being the dominant buck around, even though he was quite a bit smaller than a lot of bucks around. I watched him run off bigger bucks, breeding does, and all kinds of things throughout the season. All that kind of stuff will be out here later in another video I have coming out. But after that buck walked out, I came here and another day, sitting there with my wife. We've seen these does we have out in front of me here that I have a little bit of footage of. I decided not to shoot one of the big does because it was raining at the time. It was still pretty dark earlier in the season, warm out. Just wasn't worth trying to take one of them out. We've seen a little spike buck while I was up there as well, all within the same group. Probably 9 deer total up in that group. There were a couple of them in range. I just never decided to shoot one. And here, there was a doe in range that I was going to shoot. It was a doe and a fawn. But whenever I was asking my wife if I should shoot her or not, she kept telling me no, because they had a fawn with her, even though I believe the fawn would have been fine to live on by herself. But she said no. I didn't want to upset her. I took her hunting with me. You don't want to upset the wife if she actually decided to come out with you, do you? I watched from that first little section was probably 20 minutes of me just watching those does and that spike there before they finally left. And the same thing happened with that doe I was going to shoot. Then probably a couple weeks later, after seeing just a bunch of deer, I had a bunch of deer on recording I didn't show because, I mean, they were all does that I was just debating on whether or not to shoot with the compound. Then I decided inevitably I wasn't going to shoot one with the compound. I was going to wait till I got my longbow nice and shot. And as you can see here, we had this little buck coming running through. I tried to grunt him in, it didn't work. So I just ended up letting him walk through, and I was going to take him out because with the longbow, I was not going to be picky this season. But it just didn't work out here at the beginning of the season for me. At this point, you can see I got a doe and 2 fawns there. I also believe there was a little spike buck here behind them that I'm not sure if I recorded or not. I think shut up a little bit. I was just waiting for this doe to come across the fence, and I was 100% gonna shoot her. You see, she's finally coming across the fence, just getting ready. I was just trying to get my camera set up and ready to shoot. point, I was still messing with my camera. I wasn't quite ready to take the shot. It's getting ready to shoot right about now, and as you can see, that little doe walk right behind her. You can see my bow sitting here. I just couldn't take the shot with her sitting there, kept looking up at me. She's obviously on alert a little bit here. At this point, I thought she was going to spook, but she decided just to sit here and keep eating and watching me. She finally relaxed a little bit, and that little one walked in front of her, so I couldn't take the shot then either.
Right. Right.
That whole section there was just a learning session for me. I clearly was going to shoot that doe. I got ready to shoot her. Right after that little doe walked in front of her. Couldn't take the shot then. She moved right whenever I was about to shoot, and instead of just shooting her, I decided to move the camera. And then when I drew my bow back, I started hitting the camera arm and stuff like that behind me, so I couldn't shoot her again. And then she eventually just went on the other side of the fence there and started eating again. And I just had nothing to do but sit here and watch them walk off. So a little bit later that day, you can see I can start hearing deer coming in from behind me. These guys are actually coming in the direction I can shoot, which was luckily for me. I smoked her. I think she's dead. Okay. I gotta let her expire here. Did I hit her too far forward? Okay. It's crazy. Can't see her in video. Okay, turn this off so I save the battery as the buck comes through. Well, I just smoked that doe. I don't think I had it super zoomed in, but it should be on footage unless the camera moved. I think it went down, but I can't tell. I mean, I hit it forward. I took out both shoulders, I think. It should be dead, though, for sure. I'm not 100% shakes down real bad. I've seen at least 15 deer today. It's definitely the most I've seen in a long time. They're definitely running. I had a couple of bucks chasing, but I couldn't get them to come in. They weren't super big anyway, so I'm not too worried about it. But I'm gonna try to sit here longer and try to shoot a buck if it comes through. Sorry for the shakedown. It's cold now after that shot. It's been good. Good morning. It's nice and cold this morning. Perfect weather. I had to shoot a doe. I've been passing a long time. I got the longbow out, the old stick bow, so that's good. I'm excited. So I'm gonna sit here and try to wait for a buck though. I'll see when I recover. After about an hour or so, I went inside, reviewed the footage. I swore the shot was good. I thought it was definitely a little in front the whole time I was there, but I really did genuinely think this deer was going to be down right up there where she went. But as you can see, as I was tracking the blood up here, I had this little buck come in from behind me, and we sat there and watched him for a few seconds, and he just walked off, and then we continued our track. After we started on the trail over there was some very good blood, and I thought for sure the deer was down, but it did end up going farther than I thought it would. After a while of tracking her, the blood started to thin out, so instead of me and my pap, who were both colorblind tracking deer by ourselves, I called a buddy over to come help us. We really tracked the deer for quite a bit longer after that. I want to say a solid 8 hours of me and my pap and another buddy tracking. Ended up just totally losing blood. Called a dog in, went in. The dog was able to go after where the deer went for a little while, and the next thing we lost it, and this was way after dark at that point. So the next morning, me and the neighbor kid went up there and did a little grid search for the deer. We were never able to find it. We found more blood where it went. We went well over 1,000 yards, probably closer to a mile by the time we finished. I have it all tracked out. I'm going to show you right here. That's how long the track was before we even got the dog, and after that we went almost that same distance farther. I thought the blood looked good, bubbles in it and stuff like that. The same color, I guess. As a colorblind person, it's hard to tell for sure. But from the people I was talking to, they said it should have been long blood. And we were just never able to track that deer down. And it happens if you bow hunt. It happens if you hunt in general long enough. You just shoot a deer, you can't find it. It's definitely the worst part of hunting to me. Absolutely cannot stand whenever we lose a deer. Makes me feel terrible, makes me not want to hunt. But I do. Go out there, you learn from it, you keep hunting, you go get your meat. But on that note, I'd just like to thank you guys for watching. If you guys did enjoy, leave a like and subscribe. It goes a long way towards me. Thank you.